It's November of 2003. 4 months earlier, Disney's swashbuckling adventure, The Pirates of the Caribbean, hit big at the box office. Disney's hoping to capitalize on their success with their next attempt to transform a classic attraction into a major box office hit. Enter, if you dare, into the Haunted Mansion. Welcome to the Screen Hoppers. I'm Ian, your Screen Hoppers host. I love movies. I love Disney attractions. I love Disney attractions based on movies, and sometimes I like movies based on Disney attractions. I'm here across the country from my co-host, Michael Smith.
What up, Ian? I am Michael Smith, the co-host of Screen Hoppers. I too love Disney attractions and the movies they are based on, and sometimes the movies based on them. But mostly, I just love Disney parks and everything about them. And since you are currently visiting a Disney park and we are not able to be in studio together, it seemed only right to discuss a movie based on a ride from a park.
And I'm just so committed to the pod that I had to record even from vacation. But also I'm just committed to like watching movies. I mean, when you're on a plane for 6 hours, what else are you going to do, right?
I know. You did have plane time, which is always really nice.
It is.
When I made that flight, it was right before we recorded Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And I just watched the first 3 Indiana Jones movies on that flight. So,
since it is a special episode where I'm on vacation, we will pick up with our normal format next episode. But since I'm in Orlando, the most magical place on earth, I thought I'd bring you all with me, if only in spirit. But it wouldn't be a Screen Hopper without at least checking out what else was showing in theaters this weekend. Michael, what movies had the courage to go up against this Eddie Murphy and Disney juggernaut?
A lot, actually.
Yeah, there's so many movies this weekend, but it's a holiday weekend. This is like a Thanksgiving movie, which is a weird time to launch a Haunted Mansion movie, but...
A little late, but so are we, so it's fine. So Timeline, which is like a Paul Walker movie that I was unaware existed until I looked at this weekend.
I'm so excited about talking about Timeline.
Really? Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. The Cat in the Hat, the much maligned Michael Myers, the Cat in the Hat movie.
Never seen it.
Love Actually, Christmassy classic that lots of people revisit every year.
It's also been through a big reassessment, though.
Yeah, I haven't watched it recently, but I can guess where some of the reassessment came from.
It's got some rapey vibes, I think.
A few. Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World.
We've watched that one together pre-podcast.
I like that movie more than you.
You keep bringing it again. I just thought it was more of a museum piece than a movie.
Yeah, you're not.
But
wrong.
It was fun. I liked it.
Elf, which I really love. Bad Santa, which I haven't seen in a long time, but liked when I did. The Missing, not sure, and Gothica, which was a Halle Berry movie that existed.
That one actually has a little bit of an interesting history too, Gothica. That's a movie that should have been better than it was.
Yeah, I feel like, wasn't that her next movie after the Academy Award?
It's not her. So here's what's interesting. Matthew Kassovitz is the director, which I don't think anybody knows who he is because this movie failed so fantastically. But little backstory, I minored in French in college and studied a lot of French film. La Haine is a classic French indie film, really big deal. It means the hatred. It's this black and white great movie that takes place in the suburbs of France and really explores a lot of the subculture. Written, directed, and starred in by Matthew Kassovitz. Most people would know him, though, as the love interest in Amelie.
Oh, interesting. And
then this was his introduction to America, was directing Gothica, and it just fell flat with American audiences and didn't work. And now I don't know what he's doing, but it was sort of disappointing because La Haine is a gorgeous film. Highly recommend seeing it if you can. Yeah, really, really beautifully done. Great investigation into a lot of the tension that exists between sort of the city central Paris and the suburbs where most of the immigrants live.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's so different than the Gothica that I am vaguely familiar with.
Exactly. So there's some interesting ones this weekend for sure.
Okay, so what is Timeline?
Okay, yeah, so Timeline. in high school, I was my first girlfriend. She was really into Michael Crichton books.
Okay.
I'd never read one before, and she made me read one and demanded that I read Timeline.
Okay.
It is Michael Crichton's attempt at a time traveling movie, and I literally, until I was looking at this weekend, forgot that I read it and forgot that it existed. And it is such a weird, bizarre. Like, I didn't see the movie, just to be clear.
Okay.
I almost did, but it's the only Michael Crichton book I ever read. And it is such a weird, bizarre attempt to scientifically explain time travel. I feel like everybody has to take their crack at it. And this is Crichton's crack at it, where he sends all of these people back to 14th century Europe and puts them in all various situations in which they, might get stabbed to death or whatever. But one of the big central tenets of it is like they want to change history. And they sort of introduce this this theory that like you really can't change history, because the same reason you can't change the outcome of a baseball game. Like, you're one of 5,000 people in the stands. Just because you're there doesn't mean you can actually make anything different. And so it's like, it's going to go exactly the way it's going to go, regardless of your presence. This is no butterfly effect situation. This is life is meaningless and you don't have as much impact.
It's the opposite of the butterfly effect.
Opposite. Yeah. So anyway, it's and obviously the movie completely fell flat and everybody forgot about it. I almost didn't even put it on the list for today to announce until I realized the connection. I was like, oh shit, I read that book. It was a boring book. I'm not a Crichton fan. I got to ask though, if you could pick a movie from this lineup and we were doing a true screen hopper, what would you pick?
Like, is my movie that I was competing against you with?
Yeah. So if you and I had to go up against,
easily Elf.
Because you're just trying to win at this point.
Well, I really like that movie. That's one of those ones, like, every holiday season I watch it. Everyone likes it, so it's probably an easy win.
Yeah. I mean, it was a huge failure at the time. Like, it went through, it completely crashed and burned and then became a cult classic. Also, fun fact, we all think facts are so fun. James Caan, like, was deeply annoyed by Will Ferrell. Did not think he was funny. Did not think the movie worked.
I mean, that sort of came through in his performance, but that worked for the character, so.
I mean, he almost overdoes it, if I'm being honest. But yeah, he went back and apologized later, but he was like, Will Ferrell's not a funny person. This is not a funny movie. I am not enjoying this.
Oh my gosh.
Which I just watched Misery for the first time the other week, and it's funny because that seems to be his go-to at this. I'm starting to feel like he just doesn't like any of his co-performers. And he's always wrong.
He's always upset and wrong.
He is upset and wrong. Yeah. So, all right. So you would have chosen Elf. I'm surprised you wouldn't have chosen Master and Commander, given how much you love that movie.
Again, love's a strong word, but I really do like that movie. But no, I mean, that one's not a crowd pleaser.
I love a good Paul
even as
Bettany
someone who really likes it. Like, it's not a crowd pleaser. It's not like universally like appealing to people.
I love that you are now choosing based on what are crowd pleasers. That was not the point of the show.
Like 5 times in a row or something stupid like that.
I know, but I'm not choosing crowd pleasers. That's not what I've been doing. I chose Once Upon a Time in America. That is not a crowd pleaser.
I know, that was rude.
We both agreed. We were glad we watched it.
Yeah. Because it has a status that, as a cinephile, like, it's one to check off the list for sure.
But I didn't even know the status of it when I picked it. I literally was like, I didn't know about this movie. I just picked it because it was a movie to pick.
Huh. All right. Well, do we want to dive into The Haunted Mansion?
Yeah. So kick us off, Michael. Who's in it? What's it about?
All right. So The Haunted Mansion, I can't remember the exact context, but this movie came up in a previous episode. And my response was, like, you had said you had never seen it, and I said,
and
don't.
You said don't.
And then my first opportunity to make you watch it, I did.
Which is a weird choice. I was surprised by this.
Well, with the idea being movies based on Disney attractions, the choices are limited. And I thought the little callback was kind of funny. So I went with it to entertain myself.
But, well, as long as somebody's entertained.
So, The Haunted Mansion, not to be confused with Haunted Mansion that came out 20 years later.
Or The Muppets Haunted Mansion, which came out 18 years later.
I haven't seen that one. But stars Eddie Murphy. He plays Jim, who is a very ambitious real estate agent who has not been putting his family first and has been focused too much on his career. And so he is trying to make up for that by planning a vacation with his family, but he cannot resist the allure of getting a prestigious listing of a large, mysterious mansion that he later discovers is haunted.
Fair enough. All right, who's in this movie? This one's got a cast list. So
it does.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I want to go through the folks in this. So we've got, as you said, Eddie Murphy, one of the biggest comedy stars of all time.
Yeah.
Taking an interesting turn in this one. You've got Terrence Stamp, who, if you don't know who he is, General Zod would be your most likely. But if you're anything like us, I'm going to go back to Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, because he is superb in that movie. Love that movie. Jennifer Tilly as Madame Leota, which one of the most iconic voices on any actress ever. I love Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
Every time she shows up, I just smile.
Yeah, I agree. I really like her, and she's one that her career's kind of been all over the place. I don't know that she's someone that is front of mind for a lot of people, but like I said, anytime she shows up, I'm happy she's there.
You were talking about Liar Liar recently, and she's got a great role in that too.
So good.
But another iconic voice shows up in this, Wallace Shawn playing Ezra. Mm-hmm. So most people would know him from Princess Bride as the genius who asks all the questions and considers himself so high-minded and above everyone else. But he's been around for a long time and really, really famous voice, sort of turned his speech impediment into a brand.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff too. He's one of those actors that just kind of pops up all over the place.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll be honest, a lot of the rest of the cast I didn't recognize. Looks like they had some smaller roles, but still a pretty solid cast. The movie cost $90 million, made $180. I thought it was a huge failure. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it actually was successful.
It was critically a failure. But I thought it was a bomb. The way, because I saw this in 2003. It was the one viewing that I had of this movie prior to this, and so I was.
Did you see it in theaters?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters, and didn't enjoy it at the time. And then I feel like it's one of those movies that's sort of a legendary failure in some ways. People talk about it like it's this big failure, but it actually made money.
I was super shocked to see it made money. I've always understood it as a failure. I'd never seen it before. I guess I just assumed since it didn't get a follow-up, because if there's one company that wants to follow up on anything that's even a moderate financial success, it's Disney.
You brought up Pirates of the Caribbean earlier. Now, that was a massive financial success.
That was a massive success.
But they still
and they had a visionary director behind it too. I mean, they didn't just bleed it to death. We have another one coming out. There is another one on its way.
Yeah, and I guess maybe it's because they went so long without doing more movies based on attractions after this. It was they did Pirates, they did this, they did a bunch of other Pirates, and there really weren't a bunch more. And so I think for whatever reason, maybe that's why I attribute this as more of a failure than it was.
I think I'm the same. In my consciousness, I always assumed that this is the movie that killed attraction movies for many years. And I also didn't realize until doing research for it that it came out the same year as The Curse of the Black Pearl. Right. I would have thought that they had big success with Curse of the Black Pearl, and then we're okay, let's do it again with Eddie Murphy. But these movies probably would have been in production around the
someone
same
had
time.
The idea to turn rides into movies, and they just kind of went with it.
Well, it's not the first time. So they had done a Tower of Terror movie ages ago.
That was a TV movie. That was on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, good luck finding it though. But but it was a feature. It was a feature-length movie.
I know.
And it's nowhere to be.
There's a reboot of that's been languishing in production hell for a long time, or development hell.
Yeah.
That's had Scarlett Johansson attached to it for years and years, and they just haven't been able to get it off the ground.
I would be down to see it. It would really depend, though, on which version of the Tower of Terror that they chose to base it on, because I actually think the Paris one has the
Mhm.
best story. It focuses more on the little girl
Mm-hmm.
and her bringing you into the other world, whereas the other one is just lightning struck and a family got pulled into the Twilight Zone and the fourth dimension, and that's
Oh
sort of the
yeah, I
extent
mean
of it.
the Paris one sounds like it's more of a story to turn into a movie, and
It
as a
is,
Disney
yeah.
movie too, focusing it on a little girl would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get into this one though.
Yeah.
So you had told me that I should not watch it, and
Mhm.
I saw the 87-minute runtime, and I was like, I don't care how bad it is, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get through this. I fell asleep twice.
Oh my god.
So the first thing that I think is so strange about this movie is that you have Eddie Murphy, one of the most electric performers
and
of all time.
He is the only build actor in this movie, right? So like when you like look at like a poster for the movie, it's like Eddie Murphy, The Haunted Mansion. This does not feel like an Eddie Murphy movie.
Somehow, the only person that feels alive in this is a ghost, someone who's actually dead. Ramsley, played by Terrence Stamp.
Yeah.
Everybody in this is asleep at the wheel. This movie just feels like it's bored with itself.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the issue with it, right? Is you put Eddie Murphy in here, and Eddie Murphy does something well, and it's not this, right? And it's not funny, and it's not scary, and the plot is kind of weird, and needlessly dark.
not just needlessly dark, but also like so. The funny thing about Haunted Mansion movies is they always have to figure out a way to get the people into the mansion, right?
Yeah.
And the decision about how to get them into the mansion is the director's nephew, that kid at the beginning, that's the director's nephew, drops a bunch of flyers for real estate agents. And one of the real estate agents looks like the deceased wife of one of the ghosts inside Gracie. Like, it's so circuitous, it's so absurd. And all you have to do is get a person into a house. Getting a person into a house in a movie should not take that much work. People go into houses all the time.
I mean, that's the thing.
Plenty of movies where people go into houses.
Well, wouldn't it have been simpler? Like, the setup is he's been focused too much on his career. His family is getting frustrated with him. He's like, we'll go on this trip. And they rent like Airbnb for said trip that happens to be the Haunted Mansion. Like it was kind of right there, instead of like poster floats is found by the butler and or ghost who has this wife who looks like the real estate. Like
here's the pitch, right? They rent the house as a vacation home, go there, find out that the owners want to sell, and he starts working that and trying to communicate with the owners, but the owners are ghosts and he doesn't know he's communicating with. There is a movie in there that is so much simpler and probably works better rather than this bizarre setup that you get. And so it takes you through this bizarre setup, but like the other problem with this movie, when it's revealed that Ramsley is in fact the bad guy, the enemy, even Eddie Murphy's character, Jim Evers, is bored by this fact.
It's a letter. It's a letter. Yes, my dear heart, I will marry you. I will love you for all eternity, and tonight at last, we will be together. I do. Forever yours, Elizabeth.
She didn't kill herself.
She wanted to be with him.
Yeah, and somebody gave him the wrong letter.
Yes, well done, Mr. Evers. I must say I am impressed. You are more persistent than I would have ever imagined.
The butler did it? You gotta be kidding me.
I will deal with you two later.
Like, he's even like, oh, the butler did? The butler, played by Terrence Stamp, the most villainous actor, who, by the way, just died like 8 weeks ago. Did you know that?
I actually saw that. I was going to bring that up. Like that.
Yeah.
Like
really sad. I love him.
Yeah, he's great, and he is one of the few. I don't know if we were going to MVP this movie, but. Like I would have gone with Jennifer Tilly actually, but like Terrence Stamp is the other one who I think is great. because he does. He brings something to it. He chews the scenery. He's the only one who felt committed, like he was actually trying to create a character here.
He felt committed, and he felt like he made a choice and stuck to it, whereas everybody else sort of felt like they were just sort of showing up.
But the thing that's really annoying, you brought it up, like you find out he's the bad guy, and we are given maybe 5 minutes to sit with that fact before he's then disposed of. Like,
yeah, it's pretty. It happens pretty rapidly, but again, it's like he's the bad guy the whole time. Although this movie has a really bad problem for an 87-minute runtime of actually wasting time and burying the lead. Like, the amount of time that you actually spend with a haunted mansion, because so much of it is just Eddie Murphy wandering around in the halls with a candelabra, and it feels more like a bunch of secret passages rather than ghosts and hauntings. But there's a scene that like really caught me where I was like, why are we spending this much time on this? Are you just trying to get to that 90-minute runtime? When he opens the secret door with the little statue on the
and
desk,
then closes it, and then opens it, and then closes it, and then opens it,
and it just slides back and forth, and we watch this door for like a full minute. I was like, did you like forget what you were supposed to do next? Did you just shoot this for a while? And like, I just was so like, I was like, this movie's not long.
Wonder, like, that's a choice. Was that supposed to be a joke of some kind? Like, I don't, because this movie tries to be a comedy sometimes.
Yeah,
but
it has funny people in it. I think that's where like, but I don't know when it's actually being funny.
Yeah, like I said, Madame Leota had a couple of lines that made me laugh. Like, actually, the only like jokes that landed for me were just some of her like sarcastic turns of phrase.
Yeah. So I mean, this movie's based on an attraction. Like, let's talk about the attraction. Let's talk about the attraction, right? Do we think this movie does the attraction justice? Like, does it bring you to that experience?
And that's, I think, my biggest problem with it, right? Is, okay, you're going to base this movie on this beloved attraction. Okay, maybe you don't have the best plot. Maybe you haven't found the best way in to make a story out of it. Like, get the spirit of the attraction right. Like, get the tone. Give me some like fun Easter eggs. There really weren't even that many of those. Like,
well, so this actually, I love that you're bringing this up, right? So get the tone of the attraction right. So the tone of the original Haunted Mansion attraction, it actually has a really fascinating history because the original making of the Haunted Mansion, there was so much dispute. It took way longer to open than it ever was supposed to because they couldn't decide. They had two Imagineers in charge of it. One wanted it scary, one wanted it silly.
Yeah.
And so you wound up with an experience that actually is disjointed.
Both.
It ended up being both, where you can see where the argument split and they never came together to decide which one it should be. And so you go through the Haunted Mansion on the actual attraction at Disneyland, and the beginning is pretty spooky. You're going through a haunted place where there are lots of ghosts. And then when you enter into the graveyard, it's pretty silly and it's sing-songing and it's a fun time. And for some reason, and I cannot explain why, this is the Disney magic, it works. We all love it.
Yeah.
We understand it's disjointed. It doesn't bother us. We like, it's built into our souls. But this movie also can't decide on what tone it wants. Does it want to be for kids? Does it want to be scary? Because when we go into the crypt, it gets pretty spooky. Like there's like some zombies coming after them. But up until that point, it's been very tame. It's been very kids movie.
Yeah, and it is bizarre though that like the ride is able to balance that disconnect in a way that we accept, and in the movie it's like very irritating.
It's just, I mean, were you irritated by it? Is that how you would describe your experience of the movie?
Yeah.
I was bored. I was just bored. I just thought the characters were all so sleepy, and I thought that the plot was so sleepy that I got sleepy. So I went to sleep on it. But yeah, I was just generally bored by the whole. And the arcs that they were trying to create for the characters were very, very forced. And so I never got emotionally attached to anything, even when he thinks that his wife has died. So when he thinks Sarah has died, he's just shouting, I love you, come back. Which I actually don't even understand how she fell and died. She didn't drink any of the poison, so I was a little bit confused by that whole
I don't know.
scenario. But I don't even want to get into picking apart the logic of it, because the logic of the movie is incomprehensible.
Yeah.
But he shouts, I love you, I love you. The issue was never that he didn't love her. Like that wasn't even that
it wasn't up
the
for question.
problem.
Yeah.
It was clear that he loved his wife. There was no question about that.
It was clear he loved his wife. It was clear that the thing he was doing that was causing tension, he thought was motivated by loving his family and just sort of like misplaced their priorities a little bit. Like it was never a question.
Yeah.
He was like dedicated to his family.
Here's another weird thing I want to bring about this movie. And actually, I've noticed the theme come up in a couple of ghost movies I've been watching, but I just think it's so fascinating. So Terrence Stamp's character, Ramsley, wants to marry Sarah to Gracie, which he was named after one of the famous Imagineers who made the Haunted Mansion. So that was a little homage. He wants to wed her to Gracie, kill her so that they can undo their ghostliness, whatever. Okay, cool. So he gets up and he officiates the wedding. All those in the eyes of God, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Why would a ghost subscribe to Christianity? Why would, I think once you've entered into the afterlife and you've become a ghost, you can pretty much definitively say that the Bible didn't nail it.
Well, and I would say that if this is
religious as a ghost
wedding that is being forced violently involving a murder, perhaps it's not the most Christian-y wedding out there.
Fair. But I think that hypocrisy, that's something that I'm used to seeing, right? I mean, you see that where the officiator is evil or whatever, right? But they're trying to make it look good. But it's more just the religious sanctity of it.
Yeah, but then in the end of the movie, Ramsley goes to hell, and
which also why?
And oh my God, Gracie goes to heaven, so that it goes back to that, which it
does. It actually becomes Christian. Yeah. Also, and this is maybe my biggest problem with the movie, is that it unhaunts the mansion.
Yeah.
You can't unhaunt the haunted mansion. What the
no, it's supposed to have 999 happy haunts.
99 ghosts. You can't just end the movie
make them
with the
happy.
Haunted Mansion. And what's even freakier beyond, so we accept that they've unhaunted the mansion, except for the 4 singing heads, they're trapped in.
Oh yeah, because they end up in the car with them as a souvenir that they take.
I know. So they don't get to go to heaven or hell. They're still trapped in purgatory. Dude, that's dark.
Yeah,
everybody else gets to go somewhere if that's what the afterlife is.
This is one of those movies that pops up occasionally where I feel like we're putting more thought into it than anyone involved in making the movie.
Clearly. Yeah, I mean, so much of it didn't have any thought put into it or just any love put into it. I think that's the hardest part is loving this ride and loving the attraction. And you know me, I get obsessed with production design. Yeah. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I just feel like the production design of this movie was not just not on point for the attraction, but it also was very confusing.
Yeah.
So the entryway is spider webs and dust, and it's been sitting for a long time. And I'm like, cool, we're in a spooky place. And then the rest of the entire mansion is
opulent. Yeah,
and perfectly lit.
Yeah.
And it's that
library is dope.
And there isn't a speck of dust on anything. And the whole movie, and this is the other thing, the movie's too sanitary. It's too clean for it to be about ghosts and death. How many times does Eddie Murphy talk about getting mud on his shoes and his suit? But his shoes and his suit are fucking
they're never muddy.
And sparkly. In fact, there's a weird moment that I noticed when he's sitting down and he's given up and he's leaning up against his BMW 7 Series. I don't know how much BMW paid to be in that movie, but whatever. And the tires are clean. The fucking tread of the tires don't have any mud on them. It looks like a floor model.
Yeah, well, I mean, the movie was
sitting in a
shot on a soundstage.
It was the whole thing was obviously shot on a soundstage, and there just wasn't any. Again, there wasn't that love, that attention to what does it mean to be in a graveyard, to be in a swamp, to put it in that place, and they didn't concern themselves with it, and that's where I'm like, oh, this is a kids movie. It's a kids made for TV movie, which is fine. But then it gets really spooky with all the zombies, and I'm like,
well, and the whole thing's about suicide, which is weird. For something that is so sort of kids lazy TV movie, thematically, then that just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, like the Haunted Mansion's about suicide. I don't know. It's yeah. These are just things that like make the movie, and these are the things like you say we're being more thoughtful about it, but these are the things that like this movie could have a terrible plot if it captured the feel, the vibe of the mansion. And these are the things that make it miss the vibe.
It doesn't feel like it's made by people who love the ride. And you could have people who love the ride and end up being misguided as filmmakers, and it would still feel better than whatever this is.
Yeah.
And I think when, like, there aren't that many examples we've said, but when you look at, I think, the other attraction movies, I think all of them have done it better.
Well, that's a great lead-in. What I'd like to do, since I watched all three interpretations, I'd like to now give a ranking.
Oh, please do.
Of the Haunted Mansion movies. So I'm going to place this one of the three I've seen at number 3. This one is definitely the least entertaining watch. So 2003's Eddie Murphy and the Haunted Mansion. This is the Haunted Mansion, just to be clear. Number 3 of the 3. It misses the tone. It's not fun. It's not funny. It's not scary. It's none of those things. And so definitely a skip, I think, for me. At number 2, I'm going to put the Muppets Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
While I do think that it doesn't quite capture the Muppets tone 100% properly, the movie sort of feels like it was written by somebody who didn't quite get the Muppets humor. It gets it sometimes, it doesn't others. For better examples, I actually recommend the short series that Disney Plus put up called Muppets Now. I'm so sad they didn't come back with more of that. I am such a Muppet stan. I love the Muppets. I grew up on the Muppets. Like, I speak Muppet.
The Muppets have done the strongest adaptation of Christmas Carol.
Oh, unquestionably. But I have. Well, Michael Caine's done the strongest adaptation around a bunch of Muppets.
I love that movie so much.
That movie might be my favorite Christmas movie ever made. Yeah. It's amazing.
It could be mine. I don't know that I've ever sat down and tried to rank it, but it's one that I insist on watching sometimes twice every winter.
I watched Jingle All the Way 3 times last year.
Jingle All the Way, the Arnold Schwarzenegger toy one? Yeah, I love that movie too.
Oh my God, I've never seen it before, and I ended up watching it 3 times.
No, it's great because it's everything you love about Arnold Schwarzenegger in a very stupid kids' Christmas movie.
Completely. It just leans so hard into it. I love it. I love it. And God rest his soul, I miss Phil Hartman. So great. And then number 1, I think we mentioned this before. 2023's The Haunted Mansion, not The Haunted Mansion. Unfairly panned. I skipped it in theaters because of all the bad reviews. A good movie, captures the spirit really well, gets the people to the house in an imaginative, fun way. It's funny, it's spooky. The cast is stellar.
I've been deliberately avoiding kind of comparing the two up until this point because what I wanted to say when I was like, it misses the tone of the movie or of the ride. It can be done, and the reason I know it can be done is because they did it 20 years later.
They did.
That movie is genuinely scary at moments. Like it, right?
And it is hilarious.
And it it has a cast that they knew how to use that cast to its fullest potential. They knew what Tiffany Haddish was the best at, and they let her do that. They know what Owen Wilson is good at. They let him do that. They knew what Lakeith Stanfield is good at, which is everything, and they let him do that.
Oh my God. Where has he been? I just watched Uncut Gems, and he's so good in that. Yeah. I was so happy to see him again.
And so, like that movie, I really loved. And again, it had like the Easter eggs, right? It had the little things where it felt like I was in that world. That one felt like a love letter to the attraction in a way that this one felt like it was someone who hadn't been on the attraction.
But the other thing that one does well is if you've never been on the attraction and you have no love for it, still a fun movie.
Oh yeah, because it's well plotted. Like the story is interesting. It makes sense. The characters are good. It's efficient. Yeah.
So that was my screen hopping. I did all that. But as special bonus, I also did some attraction hopping this year. So I thought I'd give everyone a force ranking of the 3 haunted mansions that I have also been on. So if you like Disney attractions, I've got the big scoop for you. Screen Hopper's official ranking of the haunted mansions. I'm going to be ranking Disneyland, Disney World, and Paris. So starting with number 3, Disney World's Haunted Mansion. I like it. It is in no way a put down on it, but the reality is it does feel a little bit like a copy paste of Disneyland, but it doesn't have the history attached to it. The stretching room isn't actually an elevator because they can't go down because of the water floor, and so they have to stretch the ceiling up, and you can feel it. You can feel that it's a little bit of a fake, a little bit of a cheat. And that's kind of how all of the Disney World Magic Kingdom ride feels. What's your take on that? Because I know you've been on this one.
No, I agree. I haven't been on the Paris one. I can't compare it to that. But compared to Disneyland, it's very similar. It's almost an identical ride, but where there are differences, they all feel like they are differences because it was made later. It was made more modern. It was easier to do it the way that they did it. And yeah, the stretching room, what I love about the stretching room as an adult is that it's an elevator. It's not that convincing of an effect as an adult like it was when I was a kid, but knowing like, oh, there's this facade out front, then we actually go underground and the whole ride is behind where we can't see, and the stretching room's how we get there. Like, as like one of those dorky Disney people, like I love that. I like, even though it bottlenecks and I get annoyed, I like that we walk through the hall with the portraits in the Disneyland version before we get on the Doom buggies, whereas we kind of cruise through that part in the Disney World version. And so there's just like little things where it actually, like, it's probably a smoother running ride. It probably does better capacity numbers and all of those things, but it's those like quirky inefficiencies that I really like about the Disneyland version.
Yeah. So that's Disney World at number 3. At number 2, I'm actually giving to Phantom Manor in Paris. I really enjoy Phantom Manor. I was so happy to go on it, but I will admit the reason it's not a number 1 is they designed the grounds to be too realistic. In that, what would happen if a bunch of people died inside of a place and it was therefore haunted? Well, no one would take care of the grounds and everything would die. So they let everything outside die and it looks dead and barren, which Disney's not about real. Disney's about feel.
Well,
and it doesn't feel.
Disney was very specific about this when designing the original Haunted Mansion. They had Imagineers who brought that idea, and he said, "No, it's not what we do here."
Yep. He was like, no, it has to feel like a haunted house, not a logically designed haunted house, but it has to sort of have this fun feel where it's a place that you want to go. So when they built Paris, they were like, you know what? We're going to make it spooky all around, outside, inside. It's going to look like an old abandoned house. And I will tell you, Walt was right, because when you walk up to it, you don't want to go inside. And not because you're scared, but because it looks like the same reason you don't want to go into like an old leaning house in your neighborhood or a building is like, oh, that looks like it stinks in there. And like, there's probably a lot of cat pee. But the reason it gets number 2 over Disney World is the story and the spooky. So well done. I love this one. It has such a fantastic story. So it's all about this woman who wants to marry this train engineer back in the 1800s, I believe. Her dad doesn't approve of the marriage. He thinks that it's going to ruin the family. But then while he's mining at Big Thunder Mountain, an earthquake happens and kills him and his wife. So they're dead. The wedding is going to go on anyway, but the day before the wedding, the fiancé hangs himself, but he was killed by the phantom of the Phantom Manor. And so now she, the fiancé that's been left, she doesn't believe that he died, so she just wanders the halls, first as a living and now as a ghost, forever and ever, hoping for her love to return to her. It's dark as hell, and what's so great is it starts spooky and it ends spooky. So instead of going down into a graveyard full of dancing ghosts, it actually brings you down into a grave underground to a ghost town in which there are zombie dogs and ghosts all kinds of like tragically, genuinely scary things that are happening because Europe is just more inured to that type of stuff. Like, they have the catacombs. Like, they have the catacombs. There is literally an underground space where you can go and see dead people. And so they had to go darker with it, and they did.
Read the original versions of a lot of fairy tales, and that'll tell you that European sensibility.
So if you get the chance, highly recommend it. It is probably my favorite ride at Disneyland Paris. I really loved the Phantom Manor. I think it's fantastically done. Despite the grounds not working, I appreciate the thought that went into it. I understand why they did it the way they did it, but it doesn't work. And then at number 1, to your point, Disneyland's Haunted Mansion, it can't be beat. It's just one of the best rides ever. Always will be. I love it in its original form, but it also gets the best holiday makeover. I love when they bring I love when they bring the Nightmare Before Christmas to the Haunted Mansion Disneyland. I will say that for my money, that might be my favorite ride in Disneyland.
Well, what's so amazing about that overlay, to take this detour for a minute, is
Detour away. I love that overlay.
It is a very complete overlay. Like, there are other rides where they, like, you know, slap some Christmas hats on things. They dress it up.
Put some Star Wars shit on a screen.
It's still the original ride, just a little Christmased up. This one is an entirely different experience. It feels so complete. It's unbelievable the way they've made just the story as they integrate it cohesive in something where they're literally layering it on top of something that's already there, and they still make it work as well as they do. It's just, it's such an impressive feat that they even pull it off. And I have a lot of love for that property. Those characters are like, they're also like visually fun too. So being surrounded by life-size versions of like Oogie Boogie is incredible.
And some of the best music in any Disney property ever.
Yeah.
Like Danny Elfman just bringing such an A game to that movie. And I mean that movie. Maybe we'll have to do a special on that movie one day, because that movie is. I love it, and I love the story behind how Disney just didn't believe in it.
I know, and Disneyland at Christmas time is its own sort of magic. Like, I really love Disneyland at Christmas time, and that is just kind of this perfect cherry on top of that experience.
I agree. So those are the official rankings of the attractions and of the Haunted Mansion movies from Screen Hoppers. So we did it, Michael. We watched Eddie Murphy's The Haunted Mansion. Quick sneak peek to next episode. There's our special one we'll be dropping. Then we'll be back on regular schedule afterwards. Michael, you did in fact win the poll. You will get to pick the movie.
Thank you, everyone, for your pity votes. I really appreciate them.
I think I was only able to validate one pity vote. I think the rest of people, your cynical choice to simply pick what you thought the people would vote for. You made the same bet that Michael Bay did, and it paid off.
It paid off just like it did for Michael Bay. I am like Michael Bay is the lesson here. All right. So with my newfound power that I have never gotten to wield before, Ian, I'm taking you to May of 1996. We're going to watch Twister.
Ugh.
I have not seen it in a minute. So I'm not going to.
I love Helen Hunt.
I'm not going to stand by this assessment until I rewatch it. But I think I like this movie.
I'll be honest. I remember not liking it, but I definitely haven't seen it since I've become more accepting of big dumb movies. Like, I know that this movie. Well, actually, I might want to hold that. I was going to say I don't think this movie has any like major irresponsible political messages like Armageddon. So as long as it manages to avoid that, I probably will be able to enjoy it. I don't know what it is. So Bill Paxton's always just rubbed me the wrong way.
Oh, really?
I can't tell you why exactly. There's something about his acting that tells me he's always acting. I'm just very aware of his acting.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Love Helen Hunt. Like,
I love Helen Hunt too. And it really is a Helen Hunt vehicle.
We've discussed my 12-year-old crush of Helen Hunt on this maybe more than once. But yeah, like, did I watch every episode of Mad About You? Utterly jealous of Paul Reiser. You bet I did.
Sure did. That's awesome. I picked as my movie to compete with you the Richard Gere, Edward Norton legal drama Primal Fear.
Yeah, I thought you were trying to do People Pleasers. I've never seen Primal Fear. I'm super excited to see it. I'm glad you picked it, but I was surprised you picked it given some of the other options that would have probably won, given your newfound cynicism.
I didn't want to be cynical. So I definitely was like, okay, I get to make first pick. I'm going to try to like pick a good movie. And I haven't seen this movie in a really, really long time. I remember liking it. It got a little bit of acclaim. I think I'm excited to rewatch it.
I'm excited to see it. Never seen it. Super down. Haven't watched a good 90s legal drama in I don't know how long. So I'm very excited. I chose as mine probably one of it's a top 20 for me. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I just love watching it any chance I get. The Birdcage.
It's a great pick. We're gonna have fun talking about, I think, all three of these movies. Actually, I think it's gonna be a fun episode.
Now that I've fallen out of love with The Graduate, it might be my favorite Mike Nichols movie.
Okay,
The Graduate just doesn't hold up for me anymore. And I will tell you, The Birdcage. I mean, I also picked that at convenience. I literally watched it 3 days ago while I was packing for this trip. I was like, "Ooh, The Birdcage is on."
Oh, funny. Yeah.
I watched while I was packing, so I wasn't paying attention to taking notes, but. God, I love that movie. I'll seize any opportunity to watch it. The love between Albert and Armand is it's honestly one of the most beautiful love stories I think in all of film. When he gives him, we'll get into the movie, but damn, I love that movie. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's such a great movie. So, all right, I look forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining us on this special bonus episode of the Screen Hoppers. Like I said, we will be back. We're going to 1996. In the meantime, follow us on Instagram and Threads at The Screen Hoppers. Check us out at upleftmedia.com, where we have our blog and information about everything going on at Upleft. Ian's been doing some really interesting work. Rosie Page is killing it at Nailed It Novels. And Ian, if they want to follow you, where do they do that?
At Ian_upleft, and then I'll be probably posting some Disney World stuff. We're going to be shooting a little bit while we're here and making some content, and then Nailed It Novels is going to be doing a bunch of Disney content this week. So it's vacation, but it's a little bit of a work trip.
Well, if that's a work trip, you could do much worse. I am at Michael_upleft. If you are interested in what I'm up to. Mostly lately has been begging for your pity votes, and it worked. So
it did.
Again, thank you for joining us. Subscribe on YouTube, rate us on your favorite podcast app, and we'll see you at theaters next time.
We'll see you next time on Screen Hoppers.